Op goes on Reddit when his family is extremely cagey about his documents, worrying his birth was never registered, and discovers a disturbing truth about how he came to his family. Posted by u/saltoffer5981. Op made a post in r/Ask Ireland that was titled, "Is it possible my birth was never registered?" I'll try to keep this brief. I've been looking into learning to drive and have been asking my folks for all my paperwork. They've been oddly cagey about it all, going on about how I don't need to drive and don't have a car to drive. This sparked a long realization that they've acted this way anytime I've asked for any documents. We don't travel, so I've never had a passport. But I don't know my PPS number and have never seen my birth certificate. As I'm getting to adulthood, I'd like to have some form of legal ID to exist and get a job. Anytime I ask, they dodge the question or change the topic. I've got 5 generations of family down at the local cemetery, so it's not like we illegally immigrated and my family has been hiding that from me. I've talked to some friends about it, but I'm starting to wonder, is it possible I don't have this paperwork? I know I was born at home, but they should have still registered my birth, right? What happens if my birth was never registered? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Is it possible that you are adopted or that someone else in your family gave birth to you, i.e., an older brother or sister, and your parents are raising you? Op's response. God, I hope not. Commenter 2. This is quite common, and if it is the case, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Although your parents hiding it all from you and taking you out of school is not right, in my opinion. Op's response. My parents are Catholic with a capital C, but I still feel like it's overkill. Maybe it's a generational difference, but if it's true, I can't believe they didn't just tell me. It's 2025, we know plenty of families with weirder arrangements. Commenter 3. Your parents seem controlling. We don't travel? Your older sister is either your mother, or your parents are control freaks and you're so used to it that you don't even realize it. Op's response. I'm praying it's the latter, mostly because I am the eldest and don't want to find out I have a secret older sister that's also my mom. Commenter 3. Are they this controlling about your other siblings' birth certificates? Op's response. That's where it gets really odd, and makes me think something fishy might be on my birth certificate, because I've seen my younger siblings' documents. Technically controlling, but my eldest sibling is 10, so I wouldn't hand him anything important either. Op adds an edit to his post. Ordered a copy of my birth cert. Now I guess we wait. You've made very good points, and I'm probably overreacting. There may be something I don't know, but I suppose we'll find out. To add to the drama, I haven't taken my junior cert. My ma insisted I be pulled from school during COVID, and I never went back. I was homeschooled, and she's insisted I don't need a leaving cert. I was looking at YouthReach or trying to come up with some way to take the exams behind her back, but unfortunately, they both require documents I don't have access to. Update 3 days later. I finally got my birth certificate in the mail, and I'm very relieved. Good to know I exist. Unfortunately, my ma saw the envelope in the trash. It didn't mention birth certificate, and I stashed the certificate at a friend's house, but it did mention civil records. She completely freaked out on me and demanded to know what had been in the envelope. I told her it was my birth certificate, and she just kind of paused. She immediately calmed down and said she could have just given me my birth certificate. Complete lie. She was upset I had gone behind her back for it. I told her I want to get my certifications and possibly go to uni. She said if that was why I wanted my birth certificate, she wouldn't let me have it. I also told her I wanted a driver's license and passport. She told me I was being dramatic and didn't need any of those things. Overall, she has been super weird about it all. I can tell my dad knows what happened, because he's being weird too. I have the certificate, and nothing seems wrong about it, but I still think there's something weird going on. My siblings and my parents all have passports. We don't use them, but the fact my 5-year-old sister has a passport and I don't is infuriating. Whenever my little brother, 10, talks about uni one day, they seem to fully support him. If there is truly nothing wrong with my birth certificate, I don't understand why I'm being singled out. Full disclosure, I'm an anxious person, if you couldn't tell by my last post lol, so I got in my head and took a few comments to heart. I don't believe I'm some long-lost kidnapped child. But it wouldn't hurt to check. I've ordered a DNA test to my friend's house, something tells me my post will be checked by my parents from now on. I'm going to try to have another talk with my parents, and if that doesn't work, I'm making plans to leave. I don't have long before I'm 18, but I'm sure TUSLA can still help in some capacity even when I'm not a minor. I have a friend who lives in a city nearby who said I could crash on his couch if I need to. Once I get my PPS number, I'm going to try the YouthReach program and try to get my learner's permit. I'll keep you updated on the results. Second update 5 days later. This is an insane story. I told my parents I had taken a DNA test, and they finally broke the truth. My bio mother is my ma's younger sister. She got knocked up at 17-18-ish, and my bio father disappeared to go to uni abroad. I mentioned before that my family is heavily Catholic. They weren't fond of this arrangement at all and decided they'd find someone for her to marry. Arrangements hadn't even been made when she ran off to somewhere in America. She apparently left a note saying she was going there to get a termination. That was the last time they've seen her. My parents, aunt and uncle, were already married at the time and also pregnant. Apparently, their child had something go wrong in the third trimester. The doctor said he wouldn't survive for more than an hour after birth. Shortly after my birth, my aunt, bio-mother, decided this was the perfect time to drop me off at their house, through the route of a postman. Not kidding. The postman came to their door holding a baby, saying it was a special delivery from my aunt. My aunt didn't leave a note or anything with me, just told the postman that she couldn't bring herself to get a termination and wanted me to be with family. They decided they'd play me off as their child. So after they gave birth and he died, they never registered his death. Which means I have his name and his birth date. I have lots of questions now that they don't have answers to. If she made it to America and I was born there, then I'm an American citizen. I'd then have to hunt down my US records. But that means my birth was most likely never registered here. Even though I would be an Irish citizen, as both my parents were, I may not be considered one right now. But if I was born overseas, that means I would have needed paperwork to get over here, right? Unless babies are exceptions. I'm trying to map out how old I probably am because my birthday has been a lie this whole time. For those wondering why they were being so cagey, they've been using my dead brother/cousin's documents for me. They never registered him as dead. I have no idea how they got away with that, but it sounds extremely illegal. They said they couldn't get any of my documents and they weren't sure what to do. They were also worried that without evidence I was an Irish citizen, I'd be deported. My ma says she wants me to get a better education but is scared that I'll be found out. This is also when I learned my home education was not TUSLA approved. So many illegal and ethically questionable things happening here, it's a true Catholic household. To add to my annoyance, they've never tried to reach out to my birth mother. Ties have been severely cut. And my well-being wasn't important enough to fix that. It's possible I was born in Ireland and my bio-mother never left, but we won't know until we contact her. Everything is a right mess, and I have never been more stressed out in my life. But I do feel my relationship with my parents will heal. Obviously, I'm still upset they never told me, and that I may not get a chance to go to uni, or worse, I may be deported to the US, and then deported to South America because I have no US documents either. My ma said they didn't tell me because they didn't want me to have to worry about it, but they never did anything to remedy the issue, so it kind of feels like they pushed the problem onto me instead of handling it a decade ago. Both of them have apologized and acknowledged what they did was wrong. Shocking twist of events, didn't know Irish mas were capable of that. They've promised to make things right. I'm still waiting for my DNA results in hopes I can track down my aunt/mother. Then, hopefully, I can get my hands on my real birth certificate. But for now, my parents are helping me gather the other documents I'll need to register myself as a foreign birth, just in case. My aunt's birth certificate is still hiding in my grandma's attic somewhere, so we plan to get that. There will probably be no more updates, this is incriminating enough, Lamau. But I will read your comments. Just in case, I'm still doing a couple of processes behind my parents' backs. Thank you, lads, for your words of encouragement. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. This feels both like, oh, this can't be true, but also so freaking wild it must be. Commenter 2. Irish person here. I don't doubt it for a second. I know multiple people who found out their real mothers were sisters, aunts, dead, or that they were conceived through SA or abuse that was never reported, etc. All sorts of shenanigans go on to cover this up, not to mention the babies who, up to my generation, were sold to wealthy Americans by church institutions, or worse. Look up the Tuam mass grave. The only surprising thing about this to me is the age of op, it was definitely not as common back in the 2000s. Edit to add for those who won't look it up, in 1975, an underground chamber with human remains was found on the grounds of a Catholic institution, essentially a religiously run work camp for problematic women and unmarried mothers. Upon investigation over the course of almost 40 effing years, it came out it was a septic tank filled with 796 mostly infant skeletons. Only this year did a real excavation begin, with plans to rebury these poor babies in a proper grave with some dignity. Commenter 3. Honestly, getting a civil document that fast in Ireland checks out. Plus, she probably didn't officially send the baby in the mail, she probably just flagged down the postman and asked him to drop the baby off at the house. Editor's note. OP deleted their account sometime after their last post, so there will be no more updates made from that account.